Welcome to the Octopod. I'm Kyle Davis, head of the Office of the CTO. Join us as we dive into the latest technologies and trends shaping business. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a business leader, or just looking to stay ahead in the digital age, this podcast is for you. Let's unlock opportunities with technology together.
Welcome back everyone to my Hybrid Trends podcast. This time I'm joined by a team of experts from our friends at Cisco, and we're going to be talking about the topic of digital resilience is now business resilience, and how it is just an inescapable topic of conversation for every organisation on the planet. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Joachim Mason. I lead a partner sales organisation for Cisco in the UK and Ireland. We do pretty much all of our business through our partners, and it's me and my team who are responsible for that.
Hi, I'm Fitton. I'm the leader for Cisco's Cloud and AI Infrastructure Group. So we're a team of specialists inside Cisco that help our customers and partners with all things to do with the AI-ready data center.
And I'm Scott Manson. I run the cybersecurity sales go-to-market for Cisco in UK and Ireland.
Excellent. Part 3, we're really going to get into the meat of the overall topic now, which is this topic of digital resilience and how imperative it is for every organisation. We've talked about generic trends impacting the market, complexity, market trends, global economics. We've talked about how customers are evolving their hybrid cloud strategies, how they're evolving their application estates. But all of that is about how we deliver services that will support the business at the end of the day. We're here to generate revenue or reduce costs or deliver great experiences to our customers effectively. If the environment's not working because it's been compromised or it's been taken down by a change window because of some back-end complexity, we're not serving our customers at the end of the day. So that resilience piece is super important from that. And maybe, Joachim, you could give a view from your lens as why is it so important today and now versus 5 years ago or 2 years ago or even 6 months ago?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things is now is from the point of view of bad things happening, it's not a question of if, it is a question of when. And then when that happens, it's a question of what you do. How do you react? How do you mitigate? How do you limit? Because you are highly unlikely to be able to fully prevent. From the point of view of someone as a bad actor trying to do something, we've talked previously about the value, the sensitivity of data, and how that, from the point of view of their own organisation or its value outside of the organisation. So we will talk about security efficacy or security posture and how you can continue to improve and enhance, but also accept the reality of quite often the bad actors are already in your environment. So what do you do from that perspective? So landscape, we've talked about AI as an element there from the point of view of, it's not just a human element, it's digital agents, digital assistants, it's all of these additional elements that add productivity, add complexity, and they increase the attack surface as well. So there's so many things which are almost, we've used the phrase before, that perfect storm now of events happening, and it's therefore fundamentally important that we have the capabilities to keep up and keep driving that security efficacy.
No, that makes perfect sense. And I guess we've got such a reliance on digital technology today to run our businesses, to consume our services, that them being down and the impact of that is far more wider reaching than just even one business now. It could be actually impacting from a social perspective. We look at all sorts of outages that have happened over the last few years and the impact they've had on just general people's lives. Airports aren't available, cash machines aren't available. Little things like that are massively impacting to personal lives. Forget business for now, just the human race surviving is intrinsically bound to technology. And if we don't start changing our mindsets around this, we're never going to solve the problem. I think there was an article from the US government a couple of weeks ago now that said software vendors need to change the way they're coding their applications. It is no longer acceptable for all these vulnerabilities to be hitting the market. And we need superpowers like that, government level superpowers, to start enforcing this. Otherwise, people are just going to take the shortcut. They're going to develop software that has vulnerabilities, and we just go around this cycle forevermore.
You've seen it already. I mean, even it was earlier this week, and this is local, with the responsibility being put on banks where they've seen outages, the impact on consumers, and the responsibility then on those organisations to prevent those things happening, and where does that responsibility sit? Well, actually, it's on all of us. But from a regulatory standpoint, you can start to see that forming and evolving as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, Scott, if we come over to yourself for a little bit, I mean, this is the area you focus on from a technology perspective, but before we get into the specifics, what are you seeing as the reason for this resilience conversation and some of the challenges customers are having in actually achieving it?
Yes, so I think we sometimes say in our team, we're not saving lives, don't panic. But more and more, there is a direct link towards those higher level goals, such as saving lives, right? So it used to be that maybe your emails went down for a while back in the day. It's not too bad. But now we have customers, of course, in the NHS in particular, where there are the challenges of people's lives being at risk when there's an outage. So resilience is now a matter of life and death in some occurrences. It's no longer just an inconvenience. And because we're so tied into the digital world now, we're finding more and more that the outcome of downtime is not just monetary and not just civic unrest, potential societal unrest, but there is big reputational damages as well involved for customers. So the stakes just ratcheted up beyond belief compared to where we used to be, where it was just inconvenient that we couldn't get to our emails in time, right? Now it is real. There are so many online applications. If you think about the way that you run your life, it's so digital. And so therefore resilience becomes the de facto challenge of our era, I think.
No, that makes sense. And I think even if it isn't as critical as national infrastructure or NHS, it could be the future of your business. And that could be the future of employment for 10 people or 10,000 people. And just the job loss, the impact on society from that is massive. So there's we want to protect our business, but we've got that bigger responsibility of protecting the people that are in our care from an employment perspective. Because if we're a business owner, we have a responsibility. It might be to a shareholder, but it's also to all the employees that we're supporting through salary. And if we go out of business because of a resilience issue, that's a problem. And I think for me, a lot of it people will go to a DORA conversation or an NIS2 conversation. They'll go to a cyber incident conversation, but I think there's fundamental challenges under that as well that are nothing to do with that. Just complexity we talked about before.
Yeah.
The amount of customers I speak to for networking, for an example, where are your biggest challenges? Every time we make a change, we have an outage because our network's so complex and we don't have the visibility. We can't plan the changes. We haven't got that sort of digital twin vision of the environment to be able to understand the impact of a change. Actually, the technology is quite solid when you leave it alone, but the problem is you've got to patch it and update it and evolve it, and that's where then the challenges come in. So I think, does observability then become a really core part of that resilience conversation? Because if you don't know what you have and you can't see it, how do you protect it?
Yes, it does. And one of the biggest challenges we see is aged technology and not the latest versioning of technology. So when vendors and our competitors and our partners go out to speak to a customer, often you are talking about a goal or an aspiration which is not based on the reality of the brownfield environment that you're talking to the customer about. You're kind of saying to them, this is what you could win if you had everything up to the latest version and all singing and dancing. And we don't have that because it is so complicated to get onto the latest version. Sometimes it's not wise to either. If you want to go on leading edge tech, not bleeding edge. And so you want somebody else to go through that versioning control challenges to start with. But we cannot get to the end goal of where we would like to get to without bringing customers' technology debt up to a fair and equitable level. We need to increase people's understanding of the fact that you cannot achieve what we would like you to achieve through all the great products that we have unless you bring that technology up to the latest versions or near enough, right? So that's the first thing we need to do. We need to get our house in order. And then beyond that, the observability piece and understanding what you've got in place, once you've raised the level and got it to a much later version, you can start to get clever about some of the new technologies that you can offer. But to your point, Rob, the challenge we have is the interface between all these different technologies that customers have presents the gap between them, presents an attack vector, and it presents a challenge to operational optimization as well. So we have a view at Cisco that there will only be, and we would like to be one of these, by the way, but there will only be certain platform players eventually in the market, because things are going to be so difficult to get your head round. And the speed of change and the adversaries that we're up against now, we're not just up against human adversaries, we're up against artificial intelligence adversaries. The only way you're going to be able to really fortify and sleep well at night is if you have converged platforms that are able to talk together in a much more elegant way than we do today. Yeah. And that is, the necessity of that is going to drive, I think, upgrading that tech debt that we've got of old versioning. And it's going to make people say, do you know what? I cannot manage 10 widgets in my environment. I need 2 or 3. You need resilience. Of course, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. But we have to be able to offer platforms, because those attack vectors are just too glaringly obvious for not just human protagonists, but artificial intelligence. And it's a huge issue.
I think just to add to that, we've talked about it already, but the importance of data, because we've got no shortage of data. And you think about the environment, all the different kind of sensors, hoovering up data all of the time, and used correctly, interpreted correctly. Of course, that is a big part of what will then help you either from an analytics perspective or a predictability perspective or a prevention perspective. But that's without the ability to not just capture, but then make sense. That's an important part of that platform puzzle. So I guess this is a shameless plug, but in the last 12 months, Cisco acquired Splunk, and it's really all about addressing that gap from the point of view of data and how that then links in and drives up that security efficacy kind of across the board in all of the different domains that we're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's super important. I think that connection of the security side of the Splunk conversation with the observability side, bringing in the ThousandEyes and the AppD piece, and then feeding all that up into the AI Ops platform. I'm not bothered about it, shameless plug or not, because it's an important conversation. I think that vision, that view, that sort of like business lens down is so powerful. So what is our trading platform doing? What is our website doing? What is our customer experience? What is the financial impact on technology not working on our business? And being able to actually quantify that. That's visibility that a lot of organizations don't have. How many things went into a basket that didn't get bought? Why did that checkout time take too long? Yeah. And then when it does, how do we fix the problem fast? That's the, in inverted commas, the easier part of it, but actually the understanding the business impact of it is so challenging for a lot of organizations. And they'll have an idea. They know that the website down is going to cost them money, but exactly to the pounds and pence.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And then you can try and make a decision about changing a technology. There's a financial decision behind that. Well, actually, we can say we change that technology, we can take that outage out of the system, therefore we can sell more stuff. That's an easier conversation for an executive in a business to make versus I want to buy some new tech, please, because it'll make IT's life easier. Generally, people don't care about making IT's life easier, but they do care about the profit and the experience as a business, and the consumer's experience of engaging with that business is super important.
Yeah, and we talk in the realms of, to be a world-class AI-ready data center company, a network company, you really need a robust security architecture and controls around that. And in order to do that, you can't do that at human speed. You need it at machine speed. And to do machine speed, you need artificial intelligence. And to do artificial intelligence, you need to feed the machine with data. And so that comes full circle back to what Joachim said around, why did Cisco acquire a company like Splunk? I'm sure the people who actually wrote the check know a lot better than I, but what we believe and what we see from customers is all that data that it can slice and splice with its algorithmic excellence. It offers the opportunity to be able to suck that into actionable data that you can then make meaningful decisions based on security, data center, networking. And I think that is where this is all going. And the observability aspect of it just really adds to the muscles that we already had around ThousandEyes. I think that product is fabulous for identifying, analyzing, and making sure we understand where the problems are, right? It's okay having this great technology, but if you can't identify where the problems are. So the Splunk piece, along with the ThousandEyes piece, is an AppD as well, is just really cool, right? And then I will pause in a second. But the other thing I would say is, if you think about Cisco, we were just joking about in the past some of our technologies that we were selling that were state of the art back then, 10 years ago. If you would have ever thought that Cisco would be doing some of these things around the acquisition of AppD, the acquisition of a ThousandEyes and a Splunk, and now we've got this really cool flying car technology that we've bought called Isovalent. We won't go on about the product so much, but this is all about how we're supporting our customers that have got Kubernetes containers and beyond, not just that. But who would have thought? I don't think many people at Cisco knew how to spell Kubernetes a couple of years ago, right?
Still do.
Yeah, exactly. That's real bad with my dyslexia. Still get it wrong. But genuinely, this is a different Cisco turning up in the market, thinking about digital resilience, right? What does it mean? And what are the things in our armory we've got to be able to support customers deliver on their digital resilience? And that's pretty cool.
I think that's an amazing end to everything we've been talking about. What a summary as a final point. You know what I mean? The new Cisco as your digital resilience partner. I mean, that's what an ending statement. I don't think we need any more than that. So we'll call it there. Thank you, everyone. It's been fantastic, and we'll see you around. Thanks for listening, everyone. I've been Rob Sims, Chief Technologist for CDW.
Thanks, everyone. I've been Joachim Mason, leader for partner sales, Cisco UK and Ireland.
And Jed Fitton from Cisco and our cloud and AI infrastructure team.
And I've been Scott Manson.
Thanks, guys, and thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next time.
Today's episode. Be sure to check out the back catalogue for more great insights. Don't forget to subscribe via your favourite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. We appreciate your support. And if you have a topic you want us to cover, feel free to reach out. Catch you next time.